Hey folks, this is Kelani. Patch 8.2 is doing things a little differently when it comes to adding new content because it's actually going to sort of split up the new content into two distinct and very separate zones. They don't feed into each other all too much, so your progress in one isn't going to somehow carry over into the other. With two new zones, we'll have to decide on what we want to work on first. Do we want to hop on over to the technological marvel that is Mechagon, or do we want to figure out what's happening under the sea first and foremost? I heard things are better under the sea, down where it's wetter. I've played both zones several times at this point, so I'd like to think I've got a pretty good idea of how these two chunks of content will improve the game and give you a few reasons to spend some time in Azeroth. But one thing that was made kind of clear about these zones and was pointed out to be something the dev team was doing differently is that there was supposed to be no time gating involved. You should be able to hop into the questing experience and just see it through to the end at whatever pace you're comfortable with. No waiting for certain reputation markers or simply waiting for the weeks to roll by. Except that's not entirely true. There's a point in Nazjatar where you won't be able to go any further unless you complete two quests in particular. The first one is down into Nazjatar, and the second one is an Abyssal opportunity. If you don't complete these quests, you can't progress your storyline. That might not sound like that big of a deal, quests usually follow a specific quest line, so obviously you have to complete certain quests to move on. Except these quests are pretty special. To complete down into Nazjatar, you have to do 120 activities within Nazjatar itself. Thankfully, a lot of different things you do in the zone can contribute to this quest's progression. So you can do the daily quests offered in the hub, that's 3 activities right there. The bodyguard bounty quests would be another one for each one you can pick up. Any world quest you complete in Nazjatar will help give you some progression, as well as killing any of the rares you come across. By the way, quite a lot of the rares, both in Nazjatar and Mechagon, have been given a little bit of a bump in power level, so tackling some of these beasties on your own will prove to be very difficult unless you're a Blood Death Knight or something, and even then you're going to be there forever. So grouping up is going to be super important if you're wanting to work your way around the zone and kill all of the rares in sight, which is quite a big chunk of the Nazjatar zone experience. A lot of different things are tied to killing rares, including reputation, so get ready for all of the rare maps so you can create little loops and farming routes. But back to the quest, 120 activities might sound like quite a lot, and it kind of is, but with everything in the zone contributing towards it, you should be able to knock it out without too many issues. At least you can see how you're progressing towards it. If you spend a few hours each day just solely focusing on Nazjatar, it could maybe take you 3 or 4 days. But therein lies the problem. No matter how you spin it, or what you want to call this quest, you're still time gating the zone by locking progress behind it. I don't necessarily mind all too much, I guess, and I understand why time gating is present in the game. They want this content to last at least a little bit of time. They don't want players to stomp through the entire storyline in a day, especially when the raid doesn't come out for another 2 or 3 weeks after patch 8.2 hits live servers. So a bit of time gating is to be expected. I guess it gets a bit wonky because I believe they said that everything would be available on day 1 of the 2 new zones opening up. That's technically not a lie, I guess, if all of the quests are ready to go and you just have to work your way through them, but to plop down a quest that simply can't be completed as a normal quest to prolong the entire storyline seems a bit of a cheap way to introduce time gating without it being time gating necessarily. Another thing that is kind of weird about this quest is that it wasn't actually there when Nazjatar first opened up on the public test realm. I worked my way through the entire Nazjatar storyline when it first opened up, and since the character wipe and all of the essence vendors have disappeared and whatnot, this quest showed up out of nowhere. I was happily going about my business working through the new introduction for Nazjatar thinking, I'll work my way through the entire storyline again to see if anything has changed, how the reputation rewards were working, but nope, stopped dead in my tracks. So there is a little bit of time gating, but it's not what we've been used to so far in Battle for Azeroth, which does have some interesting implications. The time gating that we've seen for quite a while now is a simple time gate. Wait another week for the next quest to become available. With 1 or 2 quests per week, we'll get there eventually and you'll get the whole story. When this kind of thing happens, I typically wait for the entire thing to become available and then work my way through it, but it depends on how impactful the quests are as you work your way through them. If you unlock a dungeon halfway through the quest line, then I'll keep up to date with it as it becomes available, but if it's just simply a story, then I'll wait it out. That kind of time gating can be annoying, but I think the main benefit from the point of view of the developers is that everyone will gain access to the new quests at the same time, but most importantly, finish them at the same time, especially the last few, which usually have the big rewards. Throwing more playtime at that storyline doesn't do anything. If someone plays 8 hours a day and someone else only manages to get in 30 minutes a day, with 1 or 2 quests per week, those 2 players will still be on the same page when everything is said and done. This quest in Nazjatar is not like that time gating. If you are able to put in the time to finish every daily quest, every world quest, kill every rare mob, and hunt for treasure in between all of that, you'll get this quest done significantly faster than everyone else. That means you can move on, do the rest of the storyline, and benefit from whatever rewards or extras you unlock from finishing everything up. That might be rep to get you closer to your flying achievement, extra currency to purchase your shiny new Heart of Azeroth essences, unlock more world quests to snowball those rewards even further, so depending on where you stand, this type of time gating might actually be significantly worse than the old wait a week to see what else happens type of time gating. Personally, I think this quest, while a little annoying, is the better type of time gating, for me anyway. I have plenty of time to throw at this game. If anything, this quest actually benefits me because I know I'll get it done as soon as humanly possible when it goes live to move on to whatever comes next. So I'm not exactly angry that this quest has been thrown into the mix. I just think it's a little weird to boast that Nazjatar doesn't have time gating and you'll be able to do anything and everything the zone has to offer from day 1 of patch 8.2 and then find out that's blatantly not true. I mean, I guess it is true if you want to be pedantic about it, but you can't finish that quest in a single day. There's just no way. At my best guesstimation, I would say it would take 4 days, at bare minimum, if you do absolutely everything. Comb the zone from corner to corner and slaughter every rare in your path, which, by the way, some of them you can't get to, so that's going to be fun. I think those require flying, or something that we haven't figured out yet, but some of them are way up in the sky. So that's certainly not going to help your little progression here. If you don't have too much time to play, this could actually take you a really long time to get through, much longer than the 1 week wait it could have been otherwise. The other weird thing about this time gating quest is the fact that to get these 120 activities done, you need to explore the entire zone, especially if you want to get it done quickly. So you'll actually explore the zone before you do the story quests which are related to exploring the zone. You're supposed to follow those to see what's going on and delve deeper into why Queen Azshara pulled us down here and what we can do about it. It's a bit of a weird choice, in my opinion, to make you explore it and then kind of get the description and the story about why we're exploring it. But maybe things are just wonky on the PTR right now. As I've said, we were able to get through all of the story a few weeks ago, but I don't know why they would mess things up like that after wiping the servers, so I think it's actually here to stay. This quest is probably going to be a part of the Nazjatar zone and how it's supposed to unfold. Now the other quest that I brought up is a bit of a question mark, honestly. It wasn't completable from what I could tell before the server wipe. The quest said the required items dropped from powerful enemies, and after killing rares and elite side never saw a single shard. After the server wipe, the quest changed a little bit. You still require 20 Abyssal Shards to complete it, but you actually need to buy those shards from a vendor now instead of them being tied to a mob drop or wherever they came from. Maybe I'm a derp and just missed that part, but hopefully I wouldn't be that daft. Either way, these shards require 5 prismatic mana pearls each, and you need 20 of them to complete the quest. That's a grand total of 100 prismatic mana pearls to progress down this specific path, which, again, I actually don't know what this leads to. It might be story related or profession related. We're supposed to be powering up an ancient artifact that's somewhat broken. This might actually be the first step in repairing it too, so we'll see how that goes. 100 mana pearls is quite a steep price, however, which could take you a very long time and halt some of your other progression and purchases. Mana pearls are used for essences for your Heart of Azeroth, they're used for mounts and pets, they're used for the catch-up gear too. pretty much anything you want to do in Nazjatar will be tied to these pearls if you're working with vendors, so to ask for 100 mana pearls for this quest is a pretty large ask from where I'm standing right now. That's a lot of time spent doing world quests and hunting for treasures, so let's hope it ends up being worthwhile. Now as for the other zone, Mechagon, that one works very differently. You get to the point where you don't have any more yellow quests fairly quickly, so the only thing left to do is explore the zone, tackle the odd quest out in the zone like the fishing stuff, kill rares, loot treasures, farm parts, find blueprints, work on your Mechanicat mount, and take care of the daily visitors' needs. So, I mean, there is quite a bit to do, there's a lot to do, but don't expect this zone to really walk you through much of it. On one hand, I would agree that nothing on Mechagon is really time-gated. You can experience a lot of what the zone has to offer incredibly quickly, maybe within 15 minutes of landing on Mechagon itself. But on the other hand, I would say the entirety of Mechagon is time-gated in a sense. You can only progress so fast because there's only a certain amount of daily quests you have access to. Those rotate each day, so it's going to be pretty important to come back each day. Honestly, if you just wanted to get the daily stuff done for Mechagon, you can zoom around the zone in less than an hour and then come back the next day to do it all again. I actually think it works really well for Mechagon. I think it's a great way to do the time gating here, especially alongside the Nazjatar zone questing progression, but I still think you'd be a bit daft to say Mechagon has no time gating. I mean, I think this is a really interesting discussion topic. How far to one side do you really want to go? I think being open-ended and allowing us to farm everything as much as we want is kind of how vanilla did a lot of things. The more time and effort you put into the game and your character, the more you had to show for it. That's sort of how Nazjatar is approaching the time gating question, I think. If you have the time, you can blast the zone and get that quest done in a few days. Killing all of the rares and doing all of the dailies is going to take quite a bit of time. There's a lot of story content locked behind that quest as well, from what I remember from before the server wipe, so players who get the 120 activities done early will be ahead by quite a bit. Mechagon is kind of the same when you think about it. Lots of rares to kill and daily objectives to complete, but Mechagon doesn't have a quest blocking a good chunk of the story. Then again, Nazjatar does have quite a bit more story when compared to Mechagon, so maybe they just didn't feel like it was worth adding in an extra quest to slow us down. Either way, it looks like the no time gating thing wasn't entirely accurate. How do you feel about time gating in World of Warcraft? If you had to pick one type of time gating, which would it be? The kind where you just wait every week? The kind where we have to farm up to a certain amount of reputation? Or the kind where we have to complete a certain number of activities, quests, or events? Is there any other form of time gating you would be happy with? Leave all your thoughts in the comments section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, you can find a link in the description below. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.